We have some controversy around Canadian soccer. It's been a while, right? Since we had controversy. And maybe it's a sign of the game growing in this country that there's always noise. Perhaps not. You may well have seen it. It dropped, was it last night? I think it was. Late last night. CONCACAF with a statement. Do you want me to read it out? I'll read it out. Well,
But just before you do, we want to thank our friend Natalie Houghton for first throwing it up on social and then pinging us, because that's how I found it. And then our friend Dave DeCola, who wrote, Jesus fucking Christ, why can't we have nice things? Please tell us what you know tomorrow's pod. So it is now tomorrow's pod. And Sharms, thank you. I wanted to give it context.
Yeah, we're doing a special. This is a special, another mini pod. We've got 2 mini pods today, plus the regular pod. So we've got the Promise David interview, which you must listen to if you haven't. He's just fantastic. We have a Club World Cup mini pod with Madison Cruz from the States, a great perspective on football in the US, including Pochettino and Pulisic and all that. But this is about, and quite honestly, what we'll get to, I think this might be a bit of a storm in a teacup. But the statement reads, CONCACAF has initiated disciplinary proceedings to investigate the Canadian Soccer Association and its head coach, Jesse Marsch, for incidents that occurred during the 2025 Gold Cup match between Canada and Honduras on June 17th, 2025. The disciplinary committee will review all available evidence, including official reports detailing that the CSA and its head coach disregarded regulations applicable to suspended match officials and used offensive language toward CONCACAF match officials. Mr. Marsch is currently serving a 2-match suspension imposed by the disciplinary committee following incidents that took place during the 2025 Nations League. Additional information regarding these proceedings, blah, 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 blah. All right, so here we are. Jesse Marsch suspended for 2 games. We know that. Jesse Marsch was seen on camera in a box watching this match. He wasn't hiding. It wasn't like Jose Mourinho a few years ago, hiding with a hat on and a little microphone, under his coat and some glasses and a fake moustache. So it wasn't as if Jesse Marsch was being covert in whatever he was doing. He seemed pretty...
Yeah. Launching the drone from the window up in the box probably wasn't a good idea.
Not ideal. No, that wasn't advised. As I understand it, there wasn't like some crazy freak out. At some point, he got angry. I guess maybe he was asked to leave. I don't know the details. There's been no statement from Canada Soccer as yet. I'm sure at some point they will address this today. So there's not much information to really go on at this point, Craig.
So good show.
At the same point.
And we're done.
We're done. But I mean, listen, the rules are the rules. We're not quite sure what the rules are. That's the issue. And apparently nor does Jesse Marsch in Canada Soccer.
Yeah, I mean, we can speculate as far as what he did up in the box and whether he communicated with the coaching staff on the bench, which you're not allowed to do. And if he was caught doing that, that could be a potential. And then abusing the people that caught him, maybe. I'm not really sure. But I would think that he's already suspended. I would think he's going to get another game or 2. There's got to be something there for them to open up this investigation.
I suppose, Dubs, it comes down to he wasn't hiding, like I said there. So he thought he was allowed to be where he was. And he had his laptop in front of him. There was computer screens. We saw other coaching staff. So maybe it is the coaching staff being there, as you mentioned. Or maybe it's more about the abuse. That's the big gray area here. We don't know what was said and to whom and how it was said.
Yeah, it's the context of it all. What constitutes abuse? I think that's fairly clear no matter where you are, but CONCACAF might see it one way and Jesse Marsch might see it entirely in a different way. But it might be the amount of staff that were with him in that box, right? But was that all of that clearly laid out? And then also in terms of clarity, Forrest mentioning he might get another game. Like what the disciplinary committee, like what is on the table right now if he's already serving a 2-match ban? Like I saw on ESPN that the outlined rules of the suspension state that Marsch is still able to pick the roster, lead training, and pick Canada's starting 11. So it seems like oddly specific. So he's not allowed to sit in the box, or he is. What are the it seems like it's a little bit murky right now in terms of what he is allowed to do if those three things that I just mentioned previously are the only things he's allowed to do. And I also feel like right now, why are we not allowed to have nice things? Like they just beat Honduras. Like this is important to underline, right? Like this is a nation that's left scars on this national team fan base. And they just rid everybody, the fan base themselves, of that doubt and of that lingering PTSD with an emphatic 6-0 victory. And on the eve, or like the next day after that victory, we're talking about something that could potentially distract from, you know, this road that they're on, hopefully towards a trophy. So I feel like CONCACAF doesn't enjoy the fact, and this is me saying this, not the pod, and not Jesse Marsch or the men's national team, certainly, but they don't enjoy the fact that Canada's having success, and they have to chip away at it somehow. And does it mean that Jesse Marsch didn't do anything wrong? No, but I think that we are being unfairly targeted.
CONCACAF having a bias against Canada. What year is this? 1998? We've got a Canadian at the helm of CONCACAF. I mean, listen, Dubs, you guys played in CONCACAF. I understand why your scars run far deeper than my scars. You saw referees doing certain things on the pitch when you played against CONCACAF teams. I think that's a bit of a stretch that they're being targeted here.
Well,
Jimmy,
it could be.
do you agree with Dubs, given your experience?
No, look, it's Dub's opinion of the way she feels. She just expressed it, and I mean, I'm kind of looking at it thinking, okay, he used offensive language, so obviously he felt something wasn't right, and he probably got annoyed with the situation. We do know how annoying, CONCACAF can be at times, and he probably got frustrated with the situation, spoke his mind. Sometimes people are a little bit too fragile and can't accept certain words. But I'd be interested to see what it was really about and what caused the issue. Obviously, there was a reaction from Jesse Marsch he wasn't happy about. So there's something in it on both sides. So it'd be nice to see what happens and how it all comes to fruition.
I think from a player standpoint, it's not that big a deal. Him being on the bench, he's going to be able to influence every way possible. They're in great hands with Stalterio and Biello on the bench. He trusts them. When you guys agree with that it's not, from a player standpoint, you don't necessarily have to have him on the bench. It's not ideal, but it's not that big a deal in my.
With all the preparations before Stacks,
right?
It's the build up before the pre-match meetings. Players know exactly what they're going to do tactically. They know how the game's going to go. But obviously, with the manager on the sidelines, it's important because if the game does need change, the manager sees it, he reacts, and then he tells you tactically what needs to be done. But you've got two very experienced coaches in Biello and Stalteri who can adjust to any situation as well. So they'll be well prepared going into the match. And maybe Jesse likes sitting up there anyways. They won 6-0, so it's probably
I'm going to say he worked last time, right? And listen, It seems to me that Jesse's so meticulous. They have probably a little laminated piece of paper that says at certain points in the game, depending on the scoreline, what the subs will be. If we're up by 2 goals, we're doing these subs. We're down by 2 goals. So, it's not a big deal. But Dubs, I really think that he's got form here. He's serving a suspension for getting all pissed off at the Nations League with officials. Right, there's form here. And that is going to count against him heavily, I think. Because I think CONCACAF, if it's proven that he did something wrong, they will set an example here, don't you think?
Yes, but I also think that Jesse Marsch is happy to do it. Like, I think if you go back to that, I think it's egregious. I think it's too much. And I think if it was Mexico up there, I would think that was Aguirre, or that was Pochettino up there in that box. I don't know if we're having this conversation. And I'll leave that there. That is my opinion, but I'm going to stick by that stubbornly, as I normally do. But I think he gets sent off because he believes that Canada isn't being treated properly on par with the other powers or even other teams that they stand shoulder to shoulder with in CONCACAF, and that we continually don't get the calls. So I think there's a performative element about it to say that he's standing up for his players. So I don't think he's going to back down from this. He's going to stick to his guns, and whether or not he swore at CONCACAF to say like this is unjust or whatever the situation was, because we don't know all of the details. I don't see Jesse Marsch backing down, and I think that's the right message to send to your players.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think he'll spin it that it's us against the world. He'll work it in as a positive and how the players react to it.
Right. Chip in the shoulder. I must admit, I did kind of have a little smirk when I read the language they used. Used offensive language toward CONCACAF match officials. Have you watched the match? have you seen the players on the pitch and the way they talk to CONCACAF officials every second of every fucking game? Like, yeah, some fragility there, as Jimmy mentioned there, I think.
Well, he's been poking the bear too. If the bear is CONCACAF, right? He has, and I'm wondering, and I said this before, and once again, not stubborn, or I'm just wondering if there's any legacy kind of punitive. It's an aggregate, right, of Jesse Marsch poking the bear, because he's already said we're not always getting a fair play with CONCACAF. Then all of a sudden he's a little too vitriolic in his expression to whatever the issue was. And all of a sudden it's not just, this one thing. It's, hey, this is number 6, Jesse. Stop fucking bugging me all the time.
Right, because he had a pop at CONCACAF as well with the Whitecaps, right, in CONCACAF Champions Cup. So you're right in terms of the aggregate effect.
Right, and
all bear at the top as well.
Yes,
very big bear.
Yeah.
So leave me the fuck alone now carries far more weight than leave me the fuck alone 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
That's my point. That
it's heavier. Leave me the fuck alone.
Hey, you play in our federation. We treat you well. We've said carte blanche, new slate, new management. We're going to stop throwing out these things from 3-4 years ago, or even throwing out the Columbus Crew getting sick, and then our players getting sick at Vancouver. Then it's like, hey, like I think this is a reaction to the aggregate for CONCACAF.
I kind of love it, don't you?
Well, it's fun.
Canada's coach comes in just causing chaos, disturbing the shit out of everything. That, I know Victor Montagliani, our friend of the show, is probably like rolling his eyes saying, for God's sakes, not more of this.
Yeah.
But as a Canadian fan, and seeing the way Canada has been treated in the past, the last 30, 40 years, see some guy come in and say, no, we're doing it our way now. To hell with you. Kind of like it.
Wouldn't it be great if the audio came out, and I'm cognizant of the fact that he's an American coaching a Canadian team, but he's talked about how much he loves the identity of Canadians. And he's like, what the frig, you guys? Like, son of a biscuit box. Like, this is a bunch of shite, eh?
Slowly becoming Canadian.
Yeah.
Nah. Some of the most foul-mouthed people I've ever met in my life are Canadians. Like you, for example, Tubbs.
I know.
Not wrong.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this day and the next couple of days transpires. Canada's playing Curacao on Saturday, probably without Jesse Marsch. But as we discussed, Maura Biello is doing a pretty good job on the sidelines there, and we'll see. Let's just not see this continue at, I don't know, World Cups. At some point, Jesse's got to kind of take a deep breath.
Yeah. He's going to get a 20-game suspension.
No, I was going to say, don't be too crazy, CONCACAF. I mean, let's be honest here. If he was put there, and for everyone to see, he wasn't hiding, right?
But it'd be interesting to know. And again, opening a can of worms at the end here. I apologize, but like, what is on the table? Is it another 2-match ban? Is it an additional one? Is it more? Like, yeah, who knows?
It's not a fine. They're already facing a fine for the Fonzie incident.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He's bankrupt from bad behavior.
They need a slush fund for all the
Canadian national sports. A slush fund, Craig? That never happens.
Oh, good God.
They're not paying anybody off to stay quiet. Hey, do you have 14 cents? Because that's what all they got in the bank.
Maybe through philanthropic slush fund.
Right.
That's hard to say.
It's just, you try give it a whirl, everyone. Philanthropic
slush fund.
That is hard. I don't want to.
Yeah. Kevin Blue's making calls right now.
Yeah.
The MLS/fund, they'll call it. Can the Canadian MLS teams please drop a couple of 100,000?
Bailing out coaches everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, a little surprise pod for you all. There's a lot of content right now on our channels. We have our Club World Cup special. You can watch every FIFA Club World Cup game free on DAZN. Sign up now, by the way. That's dropping, if not already, very, very soon. We have our Promised David interview, which, as I mentioned, we discussed yesterday. One of our favorite interview. What the hell was that? Who's dropping that?
Jimmy's being funny.
I literally dropped the ball.
It was one of our favorite podcast interviews. Actually, he was so honest and insightful. It was a great chat. So please check that out. And then we're back again tomorrow, hopefully with more information than we have now regarding this current scandal rocking the foundations of Canadian sport. This has been Footy Prime.